Hello everyone, this is William Newton with the Sunday Morning Rides YouTube channel. And today I wanted to go over a TPS error code fix, or a TPS issue fix, you can call it. Basically, I had installed the first, let me lay out the bike for you. It's a 2022 KTM 250 XCW TPI, sharp looking bike. It's my first two-stroke, first KTM. I did another video kind of ragging on all the issues that I was having with it, but I'm not going to get into that. You can check out that other video if you want. This one is about a TPS error that I had and how to fix it. This may not fix your TPS error, but it may help you troubleshoot and figure it out, and hopefully it will help. So the error code, first how the error came about. I had recently installed the idle screw adjustment modification. There's a lot of vendors out there, and they basically sell a idle adjustment screw. It is right there, that gray little knob right there. It's on the bottom rear of the throttle body. I installed that because I heard that, you know, it could kind of help you achieve a better idle, and possibly even just help improve your throttle response and things like that. So I pulled off the throttle body, installed the kit. It's kind of tricky. The throttle body didn't come out too easily. I mean, like any other carb or throttle body, you just have to kind of screw with it to get it out. But getting out the screw is a little tricky. You have to, I was watching the video on Slavens Racing. They have a good how-to on it. And you actually, there's a screw inside the throttle body. I can show it to you right here. I think they call them a stub screw. And that is from the factory. And that is what is setting your throttle gap, essentially. This is what sets the clearance for your butterfly in the throttle body and how far it's open. It's not adjustable. This is inside. It's not accessible unless you take off the throttle body, pop off the plastic covering where your throttle cables go into, and more importantly, it's Loctited in there, so you can't even adjust it, even if you did pop off the plastic. So you have to heat it up, and I had to heat mine up quite a bit to get this to crack loose. Anyways, this is how it is from the factory. I finally got the screw out, installed the screw, popped the throttle body back in on the bike, fired it up, and it fired right up, and I tuned the idle to my liking. And while I was doing that, I noticed I had a check engine light. Check engine light isn't on now. Bike's turned off, but even if it is turned on, we'll get there. I turned on the bike, and I had 6 fast blinks of the check engine light. If you check the user guide, owner's manual, that is a TPS sensor error code. It does not give you specifics as to what it could be. It could be multiple things. So I hooked up I bought an ODB 2 reader. I hooked that up to the bike. I connected to it and pulled the error code, and it was a P0121. Again, P as in Paul, 0121 error code, and it mentions the voltage of the TPS sensor. And long story short, I had to do a bunch of research. I'm messing with it, trying to figure this out, and really just understand how the heck they work. There's a lot of TPS videos out there on 4-strokes because it's a lot more common to adjust the TPS voltage on a 4-stroke. At least it seems to be a lot more common, which makes sense, I guess, considering that these bikes come from the factory with the inability to adjust. So anyways, so we have the error code P0121, and I'm pissed. I'm like, Jesus, I hope I didn't completely fuck up this throttle body when I was heating it up with the torch. So I was really worried. And if you look at the pricing, a new throttle body, KTM OEM throttle body is, I think, $750. So that sucks if that was the case. And then the sensor, this little piece of shit sensor, which the cover's on it now, but behind that is the actual sensor, is $350. So if you had to replace both, you're into it for $1,000. Probably more with shipping and tax and all that. So anyways, if you any of the TPS videos for KTM will show you how to properly measure voltage using a regular voltmeter. You set it to millivolts, that, or just regular volts. Mine has a lot of decimals, which is good because you can get a very accurate reading. But basically, what you're going to do is take your voltmeter, and you're going to need to touch it up to your throttle position sensor. And additionally, to hook it up, you are going to need to stick 2 tiny pieces of metal into the contacts. The first thing I did was to verify the voltage. So if I could pop this sensor out here. You see we've got a black, we've got a yellow with a red tracer, it looks like. Could be orange. Could be orange with a yellow tracer. It could be orange with I don't know. It looks yellow with a red tracer to me. So we got black, we got yellow with a red tracer, and we've got blue. If you want to check, first you want to check voltage. So if you take your voltmeter and you hook your black lead up to the black wire, you can just touch the pin in there. Touch that, looking at it this way, that's going to be your left pin, and then touch the red to your blue, which is the right pin. That will tell you the voltage, just to make sure that you're actually getting power to the sensor. So I checked that out. It was getting, looks like it pulls about 5 volts. And so that's all good. All right, no worries there. Wiring harness is good. It's getting power. Great. Okay, nothing wrong there. So then we move further into the troubleshooting. And that is, you need to measure the data that this sensor is pulling. And it is a Hall's effect type sensor. It's just a scientific terminology for essentially using magnets to measure electricity or current or voltage going through something. Magnetic type sensor. It's a contactless sensor, which means it doesn't need to touch anything. If you look at the different TPS sensors, there's actually a little gear that connects to the throttle body butterfly, and it actually turns the sensor when you're messing with your throttle. So this is a contactless type sensor. Again, Hall's effect is the proper term, and it's magnetic contactless. And when you turn your butterfly in there, when you turn your throttle, there is a little magnet that's attached to the throttle body, and it turns, and then the sensor is able to read that and convert it into data that it sends to the ECU, and then that in turn tells the bike where the throttle's at, so it knows how much gas to deliver, things like that. So you need to measure that data. We already checked the voltage. Now we need to measure what is the voltage that it's telling the bike that it currently has. So that's where I kind of got stuck, because all the data out there, all the videos, the Facebook groups, all the people that are talking about, they're talking about on the 4-strokes. I finally found a video that was on a 2-stroke bike, and that was what did it for me. All right, so I basically needed to find out is this sensor doing what it's supposed to do, and that video was great. So I'm doing the world a favor here, and I'm going to do a video that is this one right here, and hopefully the more of these videos that get out there, the less time people will spend digging and trying to find a video. The video I found was just by chance on Thumper Talk, and I'm glad I did, because I'd still be dealing with this check engine light. Now, you should know the bike actually ran fine, but I'm thinking about trading this bike in and going back to a 4-stroke, so I did not want to have to send it there with a engine light on, because then they freaking, who knows how much they try to screw me on the trade-in value. But anyways, I digress. We're back on topic here. We're going to check the data that this is censored. So what you need to do is, for checking the data, we're dealing with the black wire and the yellow wire with a red tracer. So if you look at these 2 pins here, when you do the test, this has to be plugged in. So what you need to do is get a real thin but rigid piece of wire, and you need to stick it in there on the inside so that you can touch the contacts, or at least touch the bare wire. If you really wanted to, you could, you can probably cut this back a little bit and shave a little bit off, and get like alligator clips on it that way. But you'd want to really make sure you seal it up. Electrical tape probably do the job, but you don't want any water getting in this thing, and that's why they do sell a tool that lets you measure this without having to do it this way. But I didn't want to order the tool and have to wait for it to come in. I wanted to fix it now. So like I said, get 2 small pieces of rigid wire, and cram them in there. Okay, you want to jam them in there. Jam one into the black wire and jam one into the yellow wire with red tracer. You want to have it sticking out at least that much. You might want to bend it out so that it's facing outwards, and you don't want them to be touching. Okay, so you have your 2 pieces of wire in there. They're both sticking out. You have one on the black, you have one on the yellow red. You're going to plug your sensor back in. Okay, sensor's back in there. And now you'll obviously have this cover off here. So you're going to have your little wire, 2 little wires hanging out here. And you're going to take your voltmeter, and you can use alligator clips. Hopefully you have a voltmeter that already has alligator clips that you can, it just makes it a lot easier. I basically had to take, you can put your black, so you have your 2 pieces of wire, you're going to put your black to the black wire that you have sticking out, and your red to the red yellow wire that is sticking out. Okay, so once you have those 2 wires sticking out and you have both of your meter leads touching those, like I said, you need to have your hands free, so you need to have them clipped on there so you don't have to hold them and you don't have to hold the voltmeter. Now when you're touching those 2 leads, you're going to need to wake up the bike in here. This thing is such a pain in the butt. I'm not taking it off. In your air box, that's where your you need to hook up this dongle. This is your wake up dongle. You also use this thing to prime the oil filter. You can identify it by finding this, because this is the cover that is on it. I have mine off now because I just leave the ODB reader connected to it all the time, so I can hook my phone up to it whenever I want. So hook up your black plug that you should have gotten from the dealer. That'll wake up your bike, turn on the computer, turn on the ECU, and everything has power. So the bike is now powered on, not turned on, not running, just the bike's woken up, the computer's on, ECU's on, and you have your 2 leads connected to those sensor wires that I had pointed out before. You should see voltage reading on here. If you are not seeing voltage, then your connections on the sensor probably aren't right. And that's why it's important that you check voltage, which we covered earlier in the video first, because you want to make sure it's getting voltage. If it's getting voltage, then there should be return voltage being sent back. Where was I? Okay, so you have the bike's woken up, you plugged in your dongle, you have your voltage leads hooked up. You should see voltage here. Now my bike was showing 0.412. I'll see if I could link that video in this video. It's over, I think it's out on YouTube as well. It was embedded into Thumper Talk. But anyways, that was his video. His bike was at 0.585. Now my bike was only 0.412, which is a good bit lower. I mean, we're talking about decimal points, so it's not that much lower, but it wasn't what his was. So I said, well, all right, what the hell? Let me see what let me try to get his number. Let me see if I can get my number closer to his number. So on the 4-stroke bikes, the sensor, you can actually twist to adjust it. Now on the 2-stroke bike, if you have the idle mod kit, all you have to do is adjust the idle screw. So you might have to, now keep in mind, you might have to periodically wake up the bike. You have to do all of this with the bike turned off. And so you might have to, that's why it's very important. You have this all hooked up. You have really secure alligator clips all hooked up to the sensor, so that the only thing you need to worry about is waking up the bike, messing with the throttle, and adjusting the idle. So you have to have your hands free is my point. So again, everything's hooked up, bike's woken up. We should be reading a base reading that should be around 0.585-ish. I think every bike's going to vary just a little bit, but you should be seeing a reading. If it's higher than that, a lot higher, I'd say you have a problem. If it's a lot lower than that, I'd say you have a problem. Or at least not a problem, but you need to adjust it. And that very well might be why you had the error code. That's why I had the error code. So anyways, to adjust it, as I was saying, you're literally just going to adjust the idle right here. You're just going to turn it. And as you turn that, very slowly, you will see the voltage creep up. You'll see it start to increase. And you'll see the same effect with the throttle. If you're leaving the idle alone and you have everything hooked up, if you give the bike gas, you'll see slowly, if you give the throttle a twist, you'll see the voltage slowly increase. And that's a proper working sensor. That's how this all works. You have a base voltage with 0 throttle, and as you twist it slowly up, you'll see the voltage increase. So anyways, back to wrapping this up. You need to adjust your idle screw, and just, turn it in the direction you need to go. You might have to turn it one way and then realize, oh, that made it lower, twist it the other way to make it go up, and try to get in that sweet spot in the area of 0.585, and once you have it set and you're right at that kind of starting point of 0.585, you can disconnect everything. You might want to leave all your stuff hooked up just in case you need to rework it or retool it. So after that, I had it set to 0.585. I made sure the bike was woken up again, and I hooked up my ODB2 app, and I cleared the error code. So the bike has to be turned off to clear error code. So, again, just wake up the bike, connect your app, your ODB2 app, and I will link up the ODB reader and app that I use. I got the one that actually comes with a free app, instead of trying to buy some third-party app or getting a free third-party app that was full of ads and trying to charge you for additional features. The one I bought, the ODB reader, it comes with an app that you can register it when you install the app, and it lets you clear the codes you don't have to pay extra for it. And it shows me everything that I need. So I'm really happy with the sensor. It was more money than the other ones. It was about 30 or 40 bucks, which you'll see ones out there for as little as 15 bucks. But anyways, I'll link that in the video. But so what happened was, I set to 0.585. Obviously I checked this just to make sure that the voltage was going up and down with the throttle. Connected my phone to the ODB2 reader, launched the app, cleared the error code, and lo and behold, fired up the bike, and the error code did not return. And I was super stoked. So at that point, error code's gone. I fine-tuned my idle and my air bypass screw just to get it in a setting that I was happy with. Not voltage at this point. I didn't have to look at that. This is just purely adjusting the idle based on what I'm hearing, and I got it to a sweet spot that I liked, and I took the bike for a ride, turned it off, turned it back on, still no error code. So the moral of the story is that error code, and I should mention that I did try just leaving everything the way it was and just clearing the error code. That did not do the trick. Every time I clear the error code, the error would return. So moral of the story is to have that P0121 error code permanently removed and not have it return. It involved me simply turning my idle screw up to a higher voltage. So I think that was actually opening, yes, the higher so I had to screw the idle screw in. Screwing the idle screw in will raise your voltage. Screwing the idle screw out will lower your voltage. So what I had to do was turn in the idle screw just a little bit. I was using my voltmeter. You can probably even do it without hooking up the voltmeter, just going based on what I've learned. If you have an ODB2 reader and an app and maybe you don't have a voltmeter, try just turning your idle up a half turn, try turning it up a half turn, and I'm pretty sure that these sensors can go the opposite direction where the voltage is too high, and that'll throw an error code. So try turning your idle screw up. Maybe start with a quarter turn or a half turn, clear the error code, and fire up the bike. See if it comes back. Then try another half turn, clear the code, fire the bike up, see if it comes back, and then maybe try in the opposite direction as well. But your best bet is to use the voltmeter, like I showed you, and like is in the video that I'll post below. I really hope this helps anybody out there who might be having a similar issue. It was quite easy. It was a pretty easy fix. I'm not familiar with 2 strokes as much as I am 4 strokes, and I'm really not that familiar with TPS sensors in these newer injected type throttle bodies. So again, I hope this was helpful. I wish I need to start recording these things while I'm actually doing the work so that it can be a little bit more explanatory to you guys out there, you guys and girls. So again, thank you for watching. Shoot me any messages if there's anything at all you want to see related to bikes. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these, and we'll try to get some good content going here. And again, hope you guys liked the video. Please like it if you did. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. I don't care. Go for it, you know. If you didn't like the video, let me know why. You know, I'm not one of those people that's going to be bent out of shape if you know, say that you didn't like it. You know, it seems like I feel like I tend to ramble on a lot. This is only my second video, and I just keep talking and talking and talking. So I'm going to shut up and wrap this video up. Hope you liked it, and we'll catch you on the next video. Later.